Hello. The topic I chose to discuss for my current event is about paraeducators being underpaid. My article choice title is Paraeducators Join the National Uprising of School Employees, written by Barbara Metacolony. Teachers around the country have been schooling us with all of their strike wave, but schools depend more than just classroom teachers. Recently, paraeducators, a vital and criminally underpaid part of the public school workforce, are starting to rise up too. Paraeducators assist individual students with a range of learning issues, including physical disabilities, problems, focusing, and difficulties managing emotions. They aid classroom teachers and are often called on to provide support in managing the day-to-day of school life for these students. Their work is essential to student success, but they are often paid poverty wages. And they get no paid vacation and have no say in the decisions that affect the student work they get to work with. My first question is, how can we get the word out to our education systems that they need to step it up? Teachers Revolt inspires. Paras have seen nationally how educators are moving into the struggle and realizing that we don't need to take the conditions we've been facing, said Margaret Whittier Ferguson, a paraeducator in Somersville, Massachusetts, who is the chair of her union's paraprofessional contract team. Those conditions often include dealing with physical violence. From troubled students move forward from classroom to classroom with no time to prepare, substituting for absent teachers without increased compensation, and being expected to work beyond their paid hours. I think paras are a long way off from getting the respect for the work they do in the classroom, more often than not with the most vulnerable children in this country, said Wendy McWilliams, a paraeducator in Brooklyn, Massachusetts. In too many so-called wall-to-wall locals, while paraeducators and teachers are in the same union, paras' voices are not fully respected at the negotiation table, and unions have put their demand on the back burner. Organizing paraeducators presents challenges. Many work more than one job, so it can be difficult for them to attend meetings. Their work inside the school is often dependent on each other. They do not have their own classrooms, and their daily schedules can be very dramatic and ever so changing. But 3 examples from the Massachusetts highlight what can happen when paraeducators are welcomed to the negotiations team and the contract campaign. Mere pennies. The Brookline Educators Union represented 3 units: teachers, administrators, and paraeducators. In previous contract fights, BEU had won just paid holidays for paras. In their most recent negotiations, they took up the demand for bigger wage increases that they had won in the past. Macmillan was new to the negotiating team and excited about the solidarity that members from the 3 units showed in developing demands. She was so shocked when the school committee with whom union negotiations was dismissive of paras' concerns. Union demanded for 3% raises for paras that were met with offers of 1% from the district. McWilliams caucused with her team. When the school committee came back, I just stood up and told them that their raise was a joke, she said. It was mere pennies and a paycheck for the paraprofessionals. I wasn't interested in sticking around anymore to be further disrespected. I picked up my stuff and I walked out. BEU exposed the disrespect publicly. On Saturdays, teachers and paras went downtown to flyer and share their stories at the town-wide pancake breakfast. They brought blue union balloons for every child, and paraeducators won their 3% annual raises. No more gag rule. As in Brooklyn, what worked in negotiations for paraprofessionals in Northampton was exposing the work that paraeducators actually do. The union's decision to open bargaining to members of all 6 of the units helped this effort. Previously, bargaining between the schools committee was the union and was done underground rules that forbade bargainers to tell members about the details of negotiations. These bargaining units included non-teacher staff known as Educational Support Professionals, or ESPs. Not only paraprofessionals are also administrative assistants and custodians. The school committee was shocked when the newly elected leaders of the Northampton Association of School Employees insisted that an opening up bargain, according to Paula Riengo Murray, a 15-year paraeducator and coordinator of the union's para unit. The school committee brought their ground rules, including a gag rule, she said. We caucused and said, we are not going to sign these ground rules, she said. We are refusing to close bargaining to our members. We are not going to bargain in secret anymore. The look on their faces, you could have knocked their attorney over with a feather. My second question, do you think it was right or wrong that the paras didn't sign the gag rule? Like in Brooklyn, members were furious when the school committee members dismissed their stories, which they told at the table and the district's public meetings. We packed a school committee meeting, said Ricardo Murray. There's a 3-minute limit on public committees. The public comment period started at 6:45 and ended at 9 p.m. because we turned so many out to speak. As negotiations dragged on, the Northampton unit leadership emailed a survey to members of all 6 units asking if they were ready to impose the work to rule, in which members would work exactly to their contract and no more, but only 10% of the members responded. Rather than interpret the low response rate as a lack of interest, bargaining committee members realized they needed to actually go out and talk to people. They divided up memberships and went out of the schools for one-to-one conversations and assessment to the work rule, said Ricardo Murray. We ended up significantly increased support. The school administration insisted that because the paraeducators are only hourly workers, they couldn't work to rule. We reminded the district how many ESPs come early and stay late, how many work through lunch and other breaks. And we, the union, reminded the ESPs to only work during the paid time. The ESPs held the line to work to rule alongside teachers in the district and won significant raises. Delaying the vote for 2 hours by having people speak for 3 minutes each with the room packed to capacity, people overflowing the hallways, it was a feeling of wow, this is power, said Murray. Then they turned the power to flipping the school committee into the next election, where they won 5 new union-friendly seats. So as you can hear from this article, it sounds like paras everywhere are struggling to get pay. So I think this was a good topic to be brought up for discussion. Thank you.